Hi,
Hey,
Liz.
Kat. Hey, how you going?
Great. I can't wait for today's episode.
Yeah, it's a good topic. First of all, though, welcome to all of our listeners. Welcome to Untangling Tourism Tech, brought to you by Tourism Tribe. Yeah, today this is going to be the first episode in a series of 2 episodes we want to dedicate to social media. And that is because people are asking a lot of questions about the role of social media for their tourism business or their destination organisation in the age of AI. So everybody's radar's gone up about how the travel purchase cycle has changed and flattened because of AI search and the fact that people can get so much information in one session now, and it's really beautifully created, which is raising people's awareness about other forms of marketing and asking the question like, well, does this still work in the world of AI, in the age of AI? And social media is very commonly being asked that of us by our clients. And well, what about Instagram? What about TikTok? What about Facebook? Should I still be bothered doing it? So that's what we really wanted to discuss today. And I think we've had the benefit of delivering some recent training sessions and consulting with clients, doing the research again to really understand the answer to this question and what the strategies and activities should be to be on point. So I would like you to, Fabi, to ask me some hard questions and see, and we can bounce it between us about what we know is working at the present time.
Well, Liz, the first one that we get asked all the time is, does it actually really matter when AI runs the show?
Mm. That's exactly right. It is a very valid question when we think that all of a sudden, starting 2 years ago, ChatGPT landed and everybody started to understand what generative AI was. And so then we've become aware that while people are flocking to AI tools and even using Google and seeing the AI summaries come up, and we know that AI, large learning models and generative AI is playing a massive role, what is happening to people's reliance, the consumers' reliance on social media? It's actually increased. So people are relying on other consumers' voices heavily in the world of AI because they want to hear the real stories from individuals. Online reviews have become even more important than they were before, and so has the consumer voice on other platforms. So when we think about social media and think about the changes in the marketplace because of AI, we're seeing that Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity are leaning in on online reviews and social comment to get that validation of business information or the information that they can find online. So recently we've seen some marketplace changes. So things like Google forming a deeper two-way relationship with Reddit, the forum platform. Now, Reddit, for those listening, you may be aware that Reddit is predominantly more of a younger person's forum platform, but it is about real content. And Google had a relationship with Reddit before, but they've deepened it and they've gone two ways with it now. So what you'll see now, and we're already seeing it, is relevant Reddit forum posts coming up in Google search. So even though we may not think of Reddit as being a social platform, it is. It's still a social platform and it's authentic voice. And the other change that we've seen is that Google has deepened its relationship with Instagram as well, so that business accounts can now, that are flagged as being public accounts, so you wouldn't have a business Instagram account and have it flagged as toggled in your settings as private, but you've got it toggled as public. And you've also got it switched on in that same setting screen to be able to let the search engines access your business account content. That can now appear in Google as well. So they're just two examples of how the marketplace is shifting. These major platforms are starting to use consumer content more so, which means that as businesses, we need to be participating in a really authentic way within those social platforms. And I know, Fab, you've been speaking to a couple of clients recently about the role of Reddit as part of their search strategies. What have you been advising them?
Well, I guess the key difference is Reddit, and so are Facebook groups, like public Facebook groups. They're all text-based, right? So they're minefields to learn from and really easy to learn from as compared to video for these large language models, because it's like a dictionary created by people, but them vouching for other businesses. So it's a key difference from your website. You can say whatever you want on your website, but these two, Reddit and Facebook groups that are public, are treasure trove, minefield of recommendations and thoughts and opinions, and as opposed to reviews, they're threaded. So they're like long discussions about a topic that is really easy for large language models to understand the recency and the feeling about how people are feeling, what they're sharing about whatever people are searching for. So it's really important. Once you understand that, it makes so much sense for the LLMs and for Google to have these relationships with these social media platforms and go fishing in there. And you can see at the moment, depending on your searches, sometimes there's threads that are 11 or 12 years old popping up because suddenly Google has decided to return results from those community platforms as being more relevant than other results that it's demoted. So it's really important for businesses to participate in these discussions. A bit like, remember when we were teaching people about Twitter all these years ago? It was like a warehouse, a discussion of lots and lots of people talking about things, and we were encouraging operators to go and listen to see what was being said about their region and about them. So it's critical, if you do some searches on Google about your region and you see some Reddit threads and you see some Facebook groups, to go and engage, respond, not boast about your business, but have an approach as someone who's well versed in their local community and provide advice just like you would to people that visited you but didn't know what else there was to do in your region.
And that supports Google's framework for returning search results, the EAT framework of the EEAT, with experience being one of those E's, where it is looking for genuine experience on the topic. And that's why it's valuing so highly the visitor's experience or the consumer's experience. And that's what I love about the EAT model, is when we think about the tourism operator or the destination organisation staff member, they are not only expert in their niche or their part of the world, they are highly experienced in living in it and working in it, and they know what the experiences are that people really love. And so it all just has come together, I think, to say that the channels now are seeking out authentic, experienced and expert-based opinions that, as you say, Fab, actually have an emotional connection with the reader. And that we can, if we just take those thoughts and say, well, how do I apply that to my business social media strategy? We're on the right track. And that's the next thing I'd like to talk about is, so how do you, as the marketing manager in your business, you might be the owner, but you're also the marketing manager, how do you adapt your social media strategy in this new world of AI? And I think it's exactly what I said. You are led by the philosophies of finding that passionate connection that gets an emotional connection and that you really use your authentic voice and you lean in on the experience that you have in your region and your business. So when we're training now on social media, we're actually starting with that. And many people who've done social media training would have been taken through the process of defining their unique selling proposition and then their content pillars, those main themes for posting about. And as a structure for planning for social media, that's still incredibly relevant, but you've got to dig deeper in terms of being authentic. And one of the methods that we're using recently that works really well, and it works really well for businesses and people who are passionate about their destinations, is to look at when they're formulating their unique selling proposition or refreshing it and getting, really clear on it to drive their strategy, is to go to the Simon Sinek Golden Circle model and ask themselves why they are in the business they are in. And that's a really important question, to be able to find that emotional connection and your really strong value points. So ask yourself why. Ask yourself how you do what you do, because that helps you to find your points of differentiation from other businesses, because that's also super important to the AI engines, is to be able to work out why your tour operator business is different to another one that might be in the same region and offering something similar. So, write down your why, write down your how, and then what it is you deliver. Bring those together into a single concept, and you have a very values-based, unique selling proposition that gives you your platform then to build out your content pillars. Now, those content pillars, your first one in today's AI environment needs to really be that emotional hook. So what is it that your customers, your guests, really value about what you do? And build your first content pillar out based on that. So it may be that you run kayak tours in a beautiful, pristine coastal area, but what to actually love about what you do. It may be that you have incredible guides who are really knowledgeable about the local marine life and flora and history. Maybe that's what they really love about you do. So that's what informs that first content pillar. And you can be really passionate about it because you want your first content pillar to really provide that emotional hook, and then have a few others, and make sure you've got content pillars in there that really share your experience on the destination. One of them needs to be about that. And also things like the behind the scenes, all of these things are still relevant. You frequently asked questions, regularly sharing a review, and just whatever it is that you love posting about. So make it fun for you. So those content pillars are still really important, but we've sort of put a different, much more kind of authentic, emotive kind of filter over them now to create them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to explain it. So your content pillars are kind of your categories in your blog, but they also what drive your social media posting, and you rotate between them. And obviously short and sharp posts, or short reels, much shorter than what you would write on the blog post, for example. You could bring them as well as your highlights on your Instagram, for example. And by doing all this, you're actually showcasing your authority in what you do, which supports the search engine ranking that AI is probably copying a lot. EEAT ranking model. You're bringing your voice, but you could also be including third-party testimonials or interviews using these pillars in your videos. So again, you're showcasing that expertise of people using your product. And don't forget to actually go, apart from posting on your social media, go and participate in these communities as your business. And that was something that came out of our group training session the other day on Reddit, is your name on Reddit should, you can create just one account, really. It's not like Facebook, you've got your page and your name, but your name should be something that identifies your business. So that when you talk about your region in the Reddit forum or in the Facebook groups, be sure that in Facebook group you join as your business, so people start to see it's not Fabienne, but it's Fabienne from Tourism Tribe. So they start identifying that you are someone to be trusted because you are running a business, I say, in the region, as opposed to maybe just someone visiting or a local living there that might have less insights that are relevant to what the customers are searching for in your region.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it shows transparency as well, that you're not pretending that you're not a business owner in the destination. You are, but you are being true to the platform and not selling your business and what you offer, but providing really genuine, helpful information.
Yeah. Participating in the, in the discussion, whereas it's online or in a group at your next tourism organisation's meeting.
I think something we've been living with social media for a long time. People are still struggling to find the time to post consistently and regularly if they are time poor, which is the vast majority of our small tourism businesses are in that situation. So those conditions haven't changed, but what's changed now is the clarity around participate, provide really genuine, helpful content. And what I want to talk about in our next dedicated episode on social media is that see yourself as a content producer. So when we talk about the importance of video, just providing really entertaining content as well. I think the other thing I want to just finalise the topic of content pillars is they are really that foundation for your structure to be able to get organised and to be consistent. So another thing we're seeing that is still the same and hasn't changed, as I mentioned, is people are time poor and they really struggle to be consistent with their posting. And we know that the algorithm, and I saw it very, very recently delivering a series of workshops in region where over a 6-week period, I was seeing the operators every 2 weeks, the group of them. And a number of them said to me that as they were posting consistently, that they could see building more and more engagement over time because of that consistency over a 6-week period. And it's like the algorithm was rewarding them and going, well, you're showing up, so I'll share your content. So we know that consistency is really important in a technical framework, but it's also really important just with human communications. So having the content pillars is the absolute number one foundation to be able to build out a plan, because you pull from those content pillars and you're consistently sharing messages that come from this kind of framework rather than randomly just sort of coming up with ideas. And it's the cure. If we can do that, it's a cure for panic posting. It's like, I haven't posted anything, I'll just post something. You're pulling from that consistent framework, and then you can build out the plan. And we can talk about it in future sessions. And certainly I know that you cover this in the group tech sessions, Fabi, is what are the good, cheap and free tools for content planning. And it's worth revisiting, and I'll just mention it here. Meta Business Suite here is your most accessible free tool for the Meta platforms for Instagram and Facebook, because they have made some improvements now in terms of being able to pre-schedule with Reels and actually add music onto Reels when you're working in Meta Business Suite, which is good, because we want to move to a planned approach to help when we are busy. So we've probably covered off enough for this episode. Bab. I think we've got some good things in the bag coming up with the second episode, the next episode, which will be episode 16 on social media, where we'll really talk about that content production and the importance of videos. But in terms of a wrap on this one, what we do know right now is that consumer content and authentic content on social media and forums, so like Reddit, like Facebook groups, is incredibly valuable in the AI age. We need to be very real, lean into our experience and our authentic voice that comes from our unique selling proposition and what makes us different and what we're passionate about. And establishing content pillars and having a planned approach, that's not new, but it is still really important and valid to show up consistently. And consistency builds confidence as well. And we see this as well, that practice those first 10 video posts that an operator does. After they've done that, there's no stopping them. Their confidence is really up. So it's about moving away from being random and start building that consistency and real connection. And that's when people will really see kind of that flow and genuine interest in their business becoming leads over time, which of course is what everybody wants when they're in business.
Great. Thanks, Liz.
Thanks. My pleasure. See everybody soon. Don't forget, check in on tourismtribe.com for our membership packages so that you can join in on the fortnightly tech sessions where you can get lots of help around these sorts of topics. Thanks.
Great. Bye.